It's time for
Sports Go Sports
with Kevin Carius. Brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers.
All right, Carius is on vacation, and Brandon's in. The Duke is here to talk a little bit about sports.
I think we got to get to know the Duke for a second. How did you end up with the nickname, the Duke?
Kevin just gave it to me.
Did he?
I met him one time, essentially, before we launched the station coming up on 2.5 years ago, and kind of knew I came from like an agriculture background, farming thing. Knew like my hometown is Delburn, 25 minutes east of Red Deer. So his alliteration put Duke from John Wayne, the cowboy type, which I'm about as far from as you can get with Delburn. and that was that in full style. Like he almost forced it to happen, but here we are this much later. It's stuck, which I can't say the same for all of his nicknames he's tried to give out to interns, other people in the studio, whatever.
Me, Pete Panoski.
I said, Kevin loves nicknames, and not all of them are winners, but I guess you could, at this point, you can chalk this one up as a winner, yeah.
The Delburn Duke.
The Delburn Duke over here.
The Duke of Delburn.
With all the knowledge of the sports world that happened this weekend, and a lot did happen.
Yeah. Do we even want to talk about the game on Saturday with the Oilers and the Wild?
Well, I do, because that's what's going to dominate a lot of our show from 7 to 11 today over on Sports 1440, is that this is quintessentially the Oilers team. They continue to bleed high-danger offensive chances. At times you don't get the quote-unquote save that you need. And the offense against the Minnesota Wild in particular this year seems to be near non-existent. And my number one point today, or concern, question, moving the last couple games of the Olympic breaking out, is this power play that has at times been near unstoppable against any opponent in the NHL is ticking along at about just over 16% during this current 8-game homestand.
That's a big drop off from the 30
considering
plus
it's usually around 30, right?
Yeah.
That's even Delburn math can tell you that's around half as good as it normally is. So it's been a big key to their success in the past, and right now it's not holding up its end of the bargain.
Delburn math.
Between the two of them over there.
Yeah,
math
between
and Delburn math.
Carius's grade 10 Melville math and my Delburn education, we almost get by as one whole education under our belts.
Settle down.
Exactly.
3/4.
Yesterday, the outdoor classic between Tampa Bay and Boston.
Yeah. The Stadium Series. This is the 45th outdoor game that the NHL has hosted, going back to the original, obviously the Heritage Classic here in Edmonton back in 2003. So a lot of people have felt that it's kind of growing tired. If they're doing it, it's a money grab, all these things. It was in Tampa Bay at Raymond James Stadium, host of the Buccaneers. It was colder in Tampa Bay yesterday than it was here in Edmonton.
Wow.
It like you could see the players' breath out on the ice. Oh, yeah. There had been risk of snow leading into the forecast down in Florida.
Yeah.
Craziness. They actually had to, because of the temperature dropping as the evening fell, put heat underneath the ice to warm it up to keep it from getting too brittle and cracking, because all their preparations go into preparing for warmer temperatures, right? Especially in a climate like Tampa Bay. But yeah, I know they had the reports from the, I think it was Emily Kaplan, the in-game host on the ESPN broadcast, basically saying, instead of keeping the plant underneath this artificial ice surface at as cold as possible, they were actually heating it up over the course of the game to keep the ice in as prime conditions as possible.
Florida's always so backwards. I've never heard of hot ice. You know what I mean?
No. I'm trying to think. No, I don't
Hot
think I
ice.
have either.
And everything on the ice was pretty hot, too, because the Bruins get out to a big lead. Tampa storms back. There was a goalie fight. Vasilevsky and Swayman threw some pretty impressive knucks back and forth. Some good shots landed by each side. And then the Lightning, they complete the comeback. They win it in a shootout on technically home ice.
Wild.
First 4-goal comeback victory in the franchise's history. Wildly entertaining game. If you did not tune in because you, like so many others, are done with the outdoor spectacle and that it's kind of, worn out its welcome, you missed a great one yesterday. I'll just say that.
Who won the goalie fight?
I think Vasilevsky.
Okay.
And fair enough, the dude is like a monster. People forget because of how fast, he's like 6'6", 220 or whatever plus pounds. Like, he's an absolute beast.
He's a big goalie, man.
And he's also like arguably the fastest goalie that plays the game currently too. So Swayman was a little bit of a size disadvantage, and he's no small guy either. So
did they both get tossed?
No. So that's actually the rule in the NHL, is that goalies can fight and they just go back to their crease and keep playing. Unless the fight comes with a game misconduct, which you would sometimes see in the case of like end of game scenarios when guys are fighting, and every shift there's then referees will often attach misconducts to the end of fights to manage the game. But most of the time, and even if a goalie takes, obviously, they don't go in the box and serve their own tripping penalties or interference penalties. Same goes for fighting majors, or even if they took a major penalty that somehow didn't come with a game misconduct, which I guess would be hard to do, like slashing or something. They just go back in the crease and somebody else serves a penalty for them.
That's Terry's favorite term right there. Manage the game.
Yeah.
Manage the game.
I
you
felt
love that, Terry?
His eyes will roll so far back in his head on that one.
You can hear the marbles hit. Yeah, last night I was out at Jerome McGinley Arena for K97 bench warmers. Dave's grandson. Dave, first of all, talking to Dave, he said, I'm missing the outdoor classic. I'm a big Bruins fan. He's got the Bruins hat on.
Oh, wow.
So he goes, right now it's pretty good. It's 5-1, and he won't be
that age
happy.
like milk?
Yikes. Yeah. And then the biggest waves of the game may have actually been made by John Cooper, who's the head coach of Tampa Bay. He's going to be the coach for Canada here at the Olympics. He showed up, because they always do these, outfits for the walk-ins and stuff. I remember the last Heritage Classic, the Oilers came in the rig uniforms, flames as their Cowboys, whatever. So the Lightning came in full Buccaneers football gear. I mean, shoulder pads, jerseys, helmets, the whole shebang. Pretty funny. And then John Cooper comes in looking like Tony Montana in this Miami Vice type white suit, the hat with the feather out the side, the buttons all done down the front. And people are, especially when Tampa Bay's down 5-1, it's imagine have to do your post-game presser wearing this costume now after you get blown out on your, once again, technically home ice by a divisional opponent. Instead, he gets to gloat, smoking a cigar on his walk back towards the dressing room after the game. It was very picturesque in its entirety.
Say hello to my little friend.
Yeah.
I have to shout out Dave's grandson. I watched half the game last night before I had to head home and head to bed, but Dave's grandson, Braylon, got 2 goals before I left. So
nice.
For
Right on.
St. Albert against Strathcona, so that was pretty good. Watching the kids play last night. And the Oilers have a back-to-back before the Olympic break.
Right, yeah. They'll take on the Leafs and the Flames, which when you look at it on paper, these should be 2 games the Oilers can win. Now, as we talked about last week, we already said this morning, this isn't a perfect team. The games you should win are not necessarily games that you always do. But there'll be a lot of Leafs fans in the building tomorrow. There always is when Toronto comes to town. There's a large contingency of them in Western Canada. And then for the second half of it, it's a back-to-back, so that always makes it a little bit tougher. Jari's going to have to play in one of these games, and after his comments following Saturday night, I wonder how his teammates could perhaps respond if they take it to heart and say, we got to sharpen up, or do they say, hey, buddy, how about you make a save for us instead? Because in the world of sports, you never really know, right? It can go one way or the other.
Yeah, very good. The Duke here with Sports Go Sports. Thanks very much for wearing that Chappelle Roan outfit from the Grammys last night, too.
Yeah, I know. I like your tassels there.
Nice gator clips.
Interesting.
Yeah. Sports Go Sports. Thank you very much, James H. Brown.
K97.